Hello! Look where I am. No longer just in front of my computer, now I am about 4 feet to the right of it. I recorded this whole video, and then my camera turned off. So, I'm doing it again, baby. We're back. I'm cutting it close this month, as far as the upload date goes. But that's because I'm switching it up. The videos are going to look a little different from here on out. Instead of me listing, if you're new here, first of all, welcome. Second of all, what I would do before is I would list out every single thing that came out in a month, and the videos would be like half an hour long. But I'm switching it up. This time, I'm only going to talk about what I liked the most. Everything is still going to be included. There's going to be a little scrolling feed on the side. I don't know which side, so I'm not going to point. There's going to be a little scrolling feed on the side that shows everything that came out. So I'm not leaving anyone out of the video, but I am only focusing on the stuff that I think is the best, in my personal opinion. And the reason for this is not only so that the videos are shorter, but also so that I can talk longer about the things that I am the most excited about. And I think that'll result in better videos, I hope. So if your band or your release is not included in my little list of favorites, don't get too sad about it. This is just my shitty dumbass opinion. And you are free to go to any of these other songs that came out or projects that came out and listen to those instead. I'm still going to be including everything in a big playlist and doing the smaller favorites playlist. But now the favorites playlist, I think, makes a little more sense. Just letting you all know, things are changing around here. If you watch all this video and you're like, I like the old way better. Or if you watch all this video and you're like, I like this new way better. Let me know. If I'm very open to making changes still. I just want these videos to be watchable and good. And I want to enjoy making them. So with all that out of the way, let's just get right to it, I think. First off, a shout out. My band, Bummer Hill, put out a single in February called Ladybugs. I think it's very good. Kind of power pop infused emo. I think you should listen to it. And new album by us coming out May 10th, Far Removed. Go listen to it when it comes out. Okay, shameless self-promo out of the way. We're gonna jump into it. We're just gonna get right to. We're just gonna up first on the things that I want to talk about. This new Equal Creatures double single. 2 of them! 2 songs. Check Engine Light / Waylon. These 2 songs are kind of a mission statement for the band, just kind of letting you know we have leveled up since Prey Animal. When Prey Animal's their debut EP that came out in, I believe, 2022 or 2021, one of the two. This is such a big step up in every way. It sounds better. It's written better. The hooks are catchier. And also, new band member. New member Laura Wilson on the keys. The keys really do make a difference. They kind of elevate and differentiate this project from similar melodic indie rock kind of emo leaning bands. There's a lot of little things in the production that really make these 2 songs feel alive. I'm going to get more into them when I get to the whole album, Everything That Hurts, which came out in March. There's a lot of little things that reward multiple listens, like there's some little background percussive things that happen here and there, and all of the instruments and all the band members have great chemistry with each other and just kind of weave in and out of each other on both songs. It's just a very well produced couple of tracks, and while Check Engine Light is very, very catchy, I think Waylon takes the cake here for best song out of these 2. I think Waylon might be the best song that Equal Creatures has. It's so somber and very well deserving of being basically the title track, because the title of the record comes from a lyric in this song. I really love the bass on this song too. That little lick that happens here and there gets stuck in my head all the time. Great stuff from Equal Creatures. Looking forward to talking more about them when I get to the album. Up next, this new Pure Intruders record, Live a Little. I'm about to shock some of you, but this is a synth pop / dance pop record. I didn't know we had that in Atlanta. At least not nothing that sounds like this. I found that a lot of synth pop, mostly synth pop that I don't like, kind of just coasts in a retro styling and doesn't really do much beyond that. But Pure Intruders definitely manages to be way more interesting. First off, they do coast and like they do operate within this retro styling, but they have so many hooks throughout this record. And it feels like more sophisticated, I guess. It's hard to put a word to it, but it definitely has a way different vibe from a lot of synth pop that I've listened to. It's still very groovy throughout, a lot of extremely danceable songs throughout here, but it's not bubblegum at all. And nothing wrong with bubblegum synth pop. It's just nice to hear it switched up from time to time. And speaking of switching it up, this band does a lot. Not really genre-wise, but they switch up the sonic palette throughout here quite often. Whether it be adding a saxophone or some bongos, I think. I don't know. But unique percussion, I suppose is how I'll put it. Or even just switching up the sound of the synth that they're using and like going to a fuzzier one. They put in a lot of effort to make this album, to keep this album interesting the whole time. It does not get monotonous at any point. Every song's got its own lush atmosphere, and each one of them are tied together by vocalist Madeline Smith's silky smooth delivery. I'm just very impressed with this record. If you're looking for 45 minutes of very groovy, interesting synth pop, definitely check this out. I am a big fan. Happy to have stumbled across this and happy to tell all of you about it. Okay, up next, this new Psaltery record. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. Or Psaltery. I don't think it's Psaltery. Regardless, this new record, Everybody's So Creative. This is such a remarkable album, in my opinion. It's kind of Daniel Johnston, Elliott Smith coded. It's very, very engaging consistently throughout. And I've been trying to put my finger on exactly what draws me to this record so much. And I think it's because I've heard a lot of music that operates within like a kind of experimental lo-fi singer-songwriter space. Most of it just doesn't grab me, but this does, because they're not using that aesthetic as just an aesthetic. It's very clearly an intentional creative choice. And they actually recorded this whole project on a 4-track tape recorder, and it doesn't feel gimmicky at all. It organically adds to the atmosphere of this project, and I genuinely think that if this was a hi-fi production, it would be way worse, because the atmosphere on this record is just so unique and kind of spooky, I guess, but not in like an antagonistic kind of way. It just kind of feels like music that has existed for a long time. They very clearly didn't hear these lo-fi stylings and just go, oh, well, that's what makes these songs good. Because beyond the aesthetic of this record, it's very well written. Something that one of my friends who asked to not be named said was, it sounds snarky, but it's rare for people to do the Elliott Smith lo-fi thing and actually be good at songwriting. And I agree completely, mostly with that sentiment, but also with the fact that this is a very well-written record. One of my favorite examples of this is on the song Roach Coach Plays Piano. The bones of it are very simple. It mostly revolves around a progression and like that just repeats throughout the whole record, the whole song, I mean. But as it goes on and as very little things are added here and there and it keeps stopping and starting, the mood just changes in this very subtle way by the end of it. And by the end, I was completely hooked. This is such a cool record. If it sounds interesting at all to you, please check it out. It's on their Bandcamp, not on streaming right now, but it's on their Bandcamp. Please support this record. And even if it doesn't sound like your thing, I would also recommend it anyway, because I didn't think this would be my thing either. But now look at me. Now it's in my damn YouTube video. So big Psaltery fan now. That's me. That's me now. So, and it could be you. Up next, this new Mannequin Grove EP, Garden. It's very loud, very screamy post-hardcore. For a band's first EP, they do a lot, and they show off their riffs and their skill, and they prove that they can write some good songs as well. And I think that they can only really go up from here. This project doesn't overstay its welcome, and for a first release, it's definitely pretty remarkable. I think this band has a lot of potential. Trance is an obvious highlight for me, but I think all of these songs are good and worth your attention if you are into loud and screamy post-hardcore. It's kind of screamo adjacent, I think. So if you're into all that, definitely check this out. You'll probably get a lot out of it, and I am looking forward to what they do next. Shout out Mannequin Grove. Up next, this new Perfect Animal single, Object Permanence. It's a kind of indie pop, well, indie folk, I mean dream pop, with some contemporary country thrown in there. But I guess the most relevant piece of information is that this is just a very comfy track. It's got a great hook, and the vibe never gets stale throughout. This is probably my favorite thing I've heard from Perfect Animal so far, and it seems like they're gearing up for an album release, so I'm excited for that. Check this out if you are into very soothing, kind of folky stuff. Very epic. Up next, this new Farseek single, Salt. This is so good. It's very interesting, and it's hard to tell exactly what it is, but I think that's what makes it so good. It fuses a lot of genres and reminds me of so many bands, and yet none of them all at the same time. It's emblematic of what I feel is the most attractive aspect of fifth wave emo, and that's genre bending. Whether it's throwing in a new genre out of nowhere for seemingly no reason, or just blending so many genres out the gate that it's hard to tell exactly what's going on. That is the most fun aspect of fifth wave emo to me. And in my opinion, what really makes it fifth wave. I feel like not every band that calls themselves fifth wave really kind of gets that. And not that there's anything wrong with that. More often than not, they're still good. And it's not the end of the world that labels are used incorrectly and all that. It really doesn't matter at the end of the day. But I just wanted to highlight that aspect of this song because that is what really draws me to this track. It's very rich and lush, and there's so much going on top of just having a really catchy hook and sticky melodies throughout the entire song. It's truly unique and exciting, and I think they're coming out with a new record. I'm pretty sure. If they are, hell yeah, I'm super stoked. So shout out Farseek, big fan. Up next, this new Desmond Myers single, Comfort Zone. You're never gonna believe it, but I like the new Desmond Myers single. Who could have seen this coming? But this is probably the most I said interesting so many times in this damn video. This is probably the most compelling song that he's put out for this new era so far. On the surface, you wouldn't really expect it to be very deep, I guess, sonically. It just kind of starts out very simple piano and soft vocal delivery. But as it goes on, you notice these little things throughout in the production that kind of feel like they're ripped from a horror movie. And after I noticed this, I went and read the description on this song. It came out early on Bandcamp. It's not currently on streaming, but since it came out, I'm putting it in the video. And when it does come out on streaming in April, I will put it in the playlists. But I noticed these things in the track, and then I went and read the description. And actually, Desmond and his producer were directly inspired by horror movies, specifically by the work of Robert Eggers, which is very based. Love Robert Eggers. Those little elements that get thrown in here and there, they really elevate this track and make it way more engaging. And they got me thinking about the meaning of this song, because this song is about, in simple terms, leaving your comfort zone. But it's kind of also about the apprehension towards leaving your comfort zone. On one hand, the soft piano and gentle vocal delivery make this a very soothing listen. But on the other hand, those little elements throughout make this a very frightening listen. In the same way that leaving your comfort zone is a very, like, on one hand, it's a great idea to get out there and change up your experiences. But on the other hand, it is so scary to be vulnerable like that and be in a place that you haven't been before. It's such a simple but effective way to get that point across. And I'm in love with this song. I think it's super sick, and putting in those little background kind of scary elements is such a strange decision, but it worked so well. If Desmond is gearing up for a project of some kind, I'm here for it. If he's not and he's just putting out singles, I'll take what I can get. Up next is new Goodhost single, Themes number 2 and number 7. Number 2 is kind of an intro, so number 7 is really the meat of the single here, but it's so jammin'. I'll have more to say when I get to their album that came out on March 1st. Something that always struck me about Goodhost, I played a show with them in like August of last year or something like that. It might have been August. But I played a show with them, and something that really grabbed me about them was how they were very good at keeping the technicality and the fuckery of math rock while retaining an engaging song. Something that kind of annoys me about a lot of math rock is that they're very content to just kind of show off technical ability, to the point where oftentimes it can feel like a display of ability rather than a performance of a song. And Goodhost is very good at striking a balance between that. Because on one hand, you can listen to this track, like just kind of in the background and like jam out to it. But on the other, you can listen to it closely and like kind of get what they're doing and really appreciate all the stuff that, like all the musicianship that goes into this. Even if the production doesn't exactly wow me, I think the songs are strong enough to get me to come back to this. And I'm very excited to talk about their record when the time comes to do that. Shout out Goodhost. Cool stuff. Cool stuff, guys. Up next is new Dinner Time single, Shoes 2, the second one. I don't know if there's a Shoes 1, but this is the second one. This is a very neat indie pop, kind of psychedelic pop cut. It starts out as one thing, and you think it's going to be that thing for the rest of the song. And then around like the halfway point, it gets way groovier, and they start speaking Spanish, and it's super cool. It's like if Tame Impala was weed music rather than LSD music. It's super cool. The more I listen to it, the more I like it. And I especially appreciate the fuzzed out guitar solos that pop in here and there after the halfway point. I think they're gearing up for a new project. And I'm very happy that Dinner Time is still around after all this time of being in the scene. I remember seeing them at a house show in 2019 and breaking the floor because everyone was jumping around so much. Up next, this new Spiderhouse song, Wishbone. I love this song. It's so simple, but so effective. And it operates very beautifully within this lo-fi slacker rock space. It's so charming. It doesn't really stray away from its main progression all that much, but it doesn't need to. It's such a potent little track. I can't recommend it enough, honestly. The main kind of chorus line, "It didn't look like heaven anymore, but it tasted like God." The melody, first of all, just gets stuck in my head all the time. And that line itself is so cool. Such a cool line. It's the kind of dreamy lo-fi music that reminds you that this kind of stuff can be really good. It doesn't have to do too much to get its point across, and it knows that. So hell yeah, Spiderhouse. Very impressed with this song. Love it a lot. Ooh, up next, this new Revival Season album, Golden Age of Self-Snitching. Wow, dude, this is such a good album. Holy shit. It kind of came out of nowhere for me. I listened to a few of the singles in the lead up to this record, and I even featured a couple of them in my videos, but they just didn't grab me the way that they do now and the way that this record does. For whatever reason, I don't know. But this album is awesome. Revival Season is a two-man group consisting of rapper Brandon B. Easy Evans and producer Jonah Swilly. And the union between these two feels like it was preordained by God. All the beats Swilly makes are varied, interesting, some level of experimental, and they all go so nuts. And there's never a moment throughout this album where B. Easy doesn't know exactly what to do over any given beat. It's so crazy, whether it's the relatively low-key synths on opening track Look Out Below, or the pounding, driving bass of The Path. B. Easy just takes the beat and does exactly what needs to be done over it. It's such a compelling listen throughout because of the chemistry between these two guys. B. Easy is such a charismatic rapper as well. His energy is so infectious that in tandem with these excellent beats, his performances make it hard not to nod your head along to this entire record. His writing rocks too. He's got a great way of talking about the things that he wants to talk about in an engaging way. One of my favorite examples of this is on the song Boomerang, which is about basically the ethos of that track boils down to, you got rightfully canceled, don't come crying to me about it because you were insensitive, which is so cool. And like the way that he talks about it is a lot of fun. And he obviously goes into it a little more than that, but he's such an engaging presence and a compelling rapper. And every song just kind of hits like that, whether it's due to his strong lyricism or sticky flows. There's some choruses on here that genuinely have been stuck in my head for weeks. It's such a good album. And it's tough to pick a favorite from this record because it's so consistent throughout, which is a great problem to have when talking about music. But gun to my head, I had to pick favorites. I'd probably pick Look Out Below, The Path, Boomerang, Propaganda, and Everybody. Everybody is really funny. The chorus on Everybody is really funny, I should say. But I can't recommend this album enough. If you need any more convincing, I bought the vinyl. So listen to this damn record. It's so good. If you're any kind of fan of hip hop, I think you'll really like this. So check this out. Great album. Great album. I'm going to move on because I'm just going to keep talking about how good that goddamn album is. And finally, last thing I'm talking about is this new Strumbrush single, Light Eaters. Dude, we're so back. We've never been more back. Strumbrush remains one of the weirdest and wackiest bands in this entire scene, and they keep getting weirder, but better as well. They're not sacrificing song quality for weirdness, and it's so good. All their art rock fuckery feels completely natural, and it feels very Strumbrush. Like, this is a Strumbrush song. You could not mistake this for anything else. It goes so many places in just under 4 minutes, and it feels like you're on a wacky adventure with some strange, mythical creatures, and you're tripping balls the entire time, but you're also dancing. And if that sounds like an appealing adventure to you, check this out. It's so good. And I'm so excited for their upcoming record. It's hard to really describe how this track works outside of its slams. But I will say that little bit in the chorus that they do where the track like stops for a second, or like there's a pause between the chords. Ooh, I could punch a hole in a person. Great song. I love it so much. Shout out Strumbrush. And with that, that's it. That's all the stuff that I wanted to talk about in this video. If your band wasn't included, sorry. This is all just my shitty dumbass music taste and my opinions. So please don't kill me. If you like this new kind of style of video, please let me know. And if you don't like it, please let me know. I want these videos to be the best that they can be. I'm aware that they're not like popular or whatever, but I still want them to be good and I want to enjoy making them. So if you have any feedback, let me know in the comments below or in my DMs on Instagram at Peanut Reject. Follow my band as well at Bummerhill on Instagram, at BummerhillATL on Twitter. I have a Fall Out Boy podcast that I run with Carson from the Calistow Boys called This Ain't a Scene, It's a Podcast. It's about Fall Out Boy. We just put out a 2-hour best bits episode. So if you're looking for a place to start with that, go with that one. It's very funny. And once again, new Bummerhill music is out. New album is coming. Like and subscribe to the channel. And more videos on the way that aren't about the local scene. Bye. Oh, goodness.